basically just still meeting with these various ETs, these little other bodies, ETs, but these other bodies, various other forms. Some of them are actually reptilians that are wanting to step up. It was very interesting to meet some of them and so on, but another interesting experience I had, and those experiences where I'm meeting them, they're pretty straightforward. They actually, at least in my case, they don't really go too in depth, but it's more so like they're coming towards me or they express their interest in some way. But this other experience that I had was very interesting. I got to see the world, kind of like the Earth, as a business world. Again, we kind of go over that it's a business planet, and things are about business here and certain things like that. But what I basically seen was it started out where I was looking at a city, maybe like New York City or something like that, and all of a sudden I was all outside of the atmosphere. So I was in space and I was looking down at the planet, and there was this space station or like a spaceship near Earth, and it was all these aliens on board of the ship, these alien body types. They almost looked maybe like a mixture of like a gray aliens, but they had really long noses, like elephant trunks or something like that. Um, and anyways, they were looking down at the Earth, and essentially they were kind of bidding on certain parts of the Earth. They were bidding either to buy the people, buy the resources, or something like that. And it really reminded me of like the stock market on Wall Street, where all these guys are standing around and the numbers are changing, and it's kind of like that chaotic scene where people are bidding money. And that's what I had seen, and I could see that like it really, all this stuff down here, it's like they set the way that they set the Earth up was purely just to get the resources and purely just to have it like a business world, like nothing but an industrial kind of world, and we're kind of just living on it in between everything else that they're doing. It was very interesting to see in that kind of objective fashion. But that was the experience that I had to share. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm assuming, young man, you're writing all this down in your book and that, keeping a daily log because it's very, very good. Yes. And that's it too. Years ago, when I was with Claudia and Sandy, we went over a lot of that. And as we began to collect these different alien factors, after putting the Queen of Orion away and the Orions stepping up, because they were all prisoners basically on the planet, and they were so happy to be free of the Queen, etc. But this too has brought the, you might say, the armada of these different aliens together. Yeah, that was the idea too. Some of the ones would come up and they wanted sections of the earth, etc. And yeah, this is where the business world comes from because the planet is human farming planet. In other words, it's about conquering things because this is all they've known is to conquer and grab what you can, etc. And so this is where the wars and battles have been fought for the longest time, and that's why they have all this technology. Is to just like we have the technology here for nuclear weapons and whatever, it's the same attitude. Build the bigger bomb to defend yourself or get rid of your so-called enemy, etc. And that's been the consciousness, not the awareness. There's really no awareness tied to that, but the consciousness. And so, yeah, that's what you're seeing still. It's just like that. It's all a business world, and it just looks differently here, where whatever. But yeah, it's farming the humans, farming whatever here, and getting agreement. That agreement too, because of the awareness of each individual, they want to get that agreement that continues on and on. And this is where that agreement becomes subliminal. Just like the tap lining, you have agreements to certain things, and this is what they do. They set you up, they bind you so that they can use you over and over and over again. Yeah, it's a buildup of that's their real army, that's their real supporters. And so, yeah, that's really what it is. And to get this across to people, it's right in front of them, it's right in front of everybody, but it takes a little bit to start to see it. and pay attention, because it's very important, because this is where you are. And all these cute little emotional attachments that you have to relatives and family and to situations, and oh, I own this business and whatever, what have you. No, it's all nonsense. Yeah, just you do it, you do what you can, but wise up or you're stuck here. That's very real, because you are a slave on this planet. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no fixing the government or getting them, persuading them to do whatever. The guards on the wall watching everybody. That's why we have all this stuff, but they tell you the surveillance is for your own protection. Right. You know, all of these things that harm people and restrict them are told that it's for your protection. So you keep agreeing to stay here. And so it takes a heck of a lot more to start to see through it than it did when you were with, indigenous communities and tribes in the past. But at that time, you didn't have the awareness to see the whole thing. So it's going through the steps until finally, each person decides that they're going to take the next step and see more and start to listen up to what really makes sense. So, yeah, that's very good, Jeremy. And this is what we're proposing to the world, and little by little. But yeah, there's just like the Klingons in Star Trek. They just go. They want this, they want that, and they'll battle, they'll do whatever, because they're bored. This is all they know what to do. It's just grab this, grab that, and it's like the rich people in the world. Enough's never enough. You got billions and trillions, and gee, that's just never enough. And so, yeah, yeah, you have to be reminded, because this is it every day. And your personal mind basically goes back to the La La Land idea. And so again, it's about awareness, very, very important, and to, in your own way, pursue that. Otherwise, you get lost in your La La Land. That's very real. And each person has to step up and do their part. So there's no carrying, or there's no saving someone else. They have to figure it out. And that's what the Skypes here are about, to help people. But, each decides if they're going to show up or not. So it's just like when we went to school. If you didn't show up a lot, you missed a lot, and you go back into whatever your personal life is. But realistically, there's no such thing. It's all been made up. So now you know, and you are the decider. Yes. Thank you, Jeremy.
Just a couple things. Thank you, Duane, and
Go ahead.
everybody for
Go
listening.
ahead.
But
Your
yeah, a
time.
couple little views I wanted to say, and um, is even though down on the earth it may look like everything's kind of in a fashion put together, even though it's really not. I wanted to say, from this objective view, outside of myself and the atmosphere and all that, and looking at the earth, it's very how you say dull. I couldn't make out if it was the smog on the earth or what it was, but the whole earth looked dull, as if it was almost made out of like a metal, like it really wasn't organic anymore. It was very poisoned and polluted. And another point was, or another view that I seen, was that from this objective view, I could really see that the politics and all this stuff that they do, the presidents and laws and things, and kind of touching on what you were saying, Duane, is that it really isn't anything. It's really like a sideshow to keep people really distracted, because in this business sense, where they're buying people and buying plots of the earth, it really doesn't mean anything at all to them what the people are doing on the earth, or the forces, what they're doing on the earth, or really what they do to the humans. That's just kind of like a sideshow. But that was it. That was the couple of little views. Thank you.
It's time. What are you going to do? Sit here and watch it all die? Because it is. And what you're seeing is the consciousness from that view. And it's all gray, and it's just going to turn dark and whatever. It's all encased, etc. And so eventually it'll just be like the other planets, dead and gone. So in the meantime, each person has the opportunity to step up and take part, or they're just going to sit here and watch it and be part of it in the future. That's for real. And just like we're here right now, we're part of it. we're dealing with it. And if you want to continue on, then pay attention, because it takes a lot to get through this, a whole lot. And no, that's very, very important. I can't emphasize it enough. And again, it's just words, but each person needs their own experience. And that's very important too. And that's why the new you is the new connection, etc. And life has decided this, etc. For this opportunity for everyone to wake up and become more aware. But you have to do it in steps, because you just can't recognize it all at once. There's no such thing as one big answer, but this is what people have been told. And yes, the world, when you objectively see it, it's a circus. That's all it is. And the aliens know this, because, see, they're outside the world and they have the objective view, and they go to many worlds and they see the same circus going on. They say these are all prison planets, is what they are. They don't have to be that, but they've been made into prison planets, because this is just the mind frame of the reptilians and others. Doesn't matter who it is, certain body types. This is their mind frame. This is what they've decided, and they're fine with it, because they got their share. And they probably have conferences with each other, just like the elites do, where they have parties and they toast each other, with champagne and whatever, saying, oh, look, we did another takeover, we got this now, and what have you. And yeah, that's their big thrill. The cartel does the same thing, etc., every time they get their drugs through or what have you. Yeah, and that's just it. And so we have to deal with it, but we're the most aware. And so as we step out of here, as you have the awareness to do it, then it's okay. We see what's going on. We don't have to be the effect of it. But there's a lot to learn in the meantime, so that is possible. Yes, a whole lot. So all these little cute little emotional attachments to this place and other people, that will get you nowhere at all. Each person be their own being. And just like you were saying with the aliens, yeah, they're very matter of fact, because they're like business people, real business people in the world. They just want to get the business done. They don't fool around. So if they're looking to, you might say, switch sides, they're very focused on that, because they see the advantage. And now they're waking up too, seeing the disadvantage of what they're doing, and because they can see that it's going nowhere, even though it looked good for a long time. And yeah, they still want to hang on, and they still have their emotional attachments to that. Even though they may so-called switch sides, they still got a lot of tap line and emotional attachments too, that they got to get through. It's a business decision, okay, and to them in a way at first, but they've got to go through a whole lot to refine themselves, to where they really have the awareness and sincere intent to get real with what all life is. And that's a lot. They're not going to instantly do it. Nobody does. Yeah, thank you, Jeremy.